Hello, and welcome to Dicebreakers, a D&D podcast and stream with mostly accurate rules and inconsistent character voices. I'm Alex, your host and DM, and with me are Greg, Purdy, Mark, and Joe. Oh, and Simon, my wonderful players. How is everybody doing today? I know, I skipped over because I'm used to skipping over your name.
So rude.
That's cool.
Completely unwarranted.
Cool.
Greg, Purdy, Mark, and Simon, my wonderful players. How is everybody doing today? It's weird being able to hear the music for once, because usually I try and just like guess the timing, and I'm usually quite good at doing that, but I can hear it today, so that's all fun and stuff. No, we didn't get to use the new intro, which I have written for C3, or at least for DBDnD. We will at some point, that's fine. We're not doing a proper D&D episode today. We're going to be doing some talking and discussing, because our wonderful temporary DM Joe is feeling very ill today. So we are doing some pre-D&D stuff where we're going to talk about some C3-esque things, possibly a little bit of like the in-between of C2 and C3. For a little bit of explanation, you'll already know, but there is a 423-year gap between the end of C2 and the beginning of C3. Yes, it is a very specific number. And there is a history of things that happen between those two. Lots of stuff and situations and things change. And it's a non-formatted conversation about those kinds of things where you guys can ask questions or make discussions, make predictions. Predictions are always fun, of course.
And maybe a little bit of spoilers.
And maybe yeah, we could make some spoilers at some point if... most likely if we slip up and just forget that we're not
Exactly. Well, I've got my character sheet over here if I need to refer to it, which means I will at some point forget and mention the name or something about it.
Probably won't do any character stuff. We could reveal names.
Because that is Mark.
It doesn't reveal anything about...
Purdy. I'm not
Greg.
Revealing my other name.
Hi.
Jim.
DM.
Frank.
Damn it.
And I'm
a
Greg.
D&D player, not a DM.
And I'm Karina. We know I am the Karina of this stream.
Kind of. I mean,
Chaotic.
we all have a little bit of everything. We already know that I'm Jacob because I'm
Actually,
bullied. So...
Oh, get over being bullied, will you?
Hilariously, telling him to get over it, you are bullying him.
Exactly. Now I'm Alex, your host and DM, and with me are Greg, Jacob, Frank, Greg. Whatever names we're putting into this. Anyway.
Anyway.
C3 character names. Let's just do first names because it's a bit of a fun time.
First names.
And I'm going to go. Let's start.
We're starting with spoilers, Alex. We need to save the spoilers for the end.
I just wanted to do like it's like little nubbins of spoilers. You know, it's just names. It doesn't mean anything.
But we need to give people a reason to keep watching. We can't start with that.
There'll be more spoilers later. This is just like the.
Oh, okay.
Like this is putting down a little bit of seeds so that the birds can and then later on you sort of trail them towards the trap. Let's go. We'll go first and last name. We'll go full names because it's fun.
No.
Full names.
Party!
No?
Everyone knows already! Just
No!
I've made the decision. If you don't do it, I will say it. Father.
So, Paddy's
Fuck you!
No.
Are you sure? Okay, I'm happy to give full
It's
name.
like 2 weeks.
I mean, we're going to find out in a couple of weeks anyway.
Yeah. I think
it's not going to change in between now and then.
You don't need to say anything else about the character, just...
Okay, so my character's name is Mark. My character's name is Kale Tar.
Yeah. Greg?
my character's name is Maisie Montgomery Cartwright.
That's a great name. That's a great name.
My character's name is Neva Montgomery Cartwright.
Ah.
Simon.
So Montgomery Cartwright, is that hyphenated?
Mm-hmm.
My character's name is Samir Maristus.
Which is a great name.
That is a good name.
Thank you.
And I will say Joe's is Cromwell Beckman.
Also a good name. Cromwell Bateman or Beckman?
Beckman.
Beckman. Cromwell.
Not Bateman at American Psycho.
And I was finding it very funny, Simon, when we were talking a few weeks ago. You told me about Felix's friend Maisie.
Yeah.
I was like, it's so funny, I can't fucking say anything yet. I had no idea.
Wait, you spelled Maisie weirdly?
Yeah, I did.
Well, I don't know if weirdly, differently.
Yeah, I was gonna. How dare you? So just to start off in a place of conversation,
I just wanted to...
in the time between C2 and C3, the biggest difference, the biggest sort of thing that changes the world is in fact
it's a musical this time.
It's a musical this time. No, it's the Strangelings. So at the end of C2, the Strangelings are like the most powerful people in the world. Let's be honest. Apart from the old gods and all that kind of stuff, they are extremely competent. Basically level 20. They have saved the world, and most people are aware that the Strangelings saved the world. The Strangelings Guild becomes a lot more popular, and effectively. There are guilds around the world. It's not like a big thing to have a guild, but a few of them, you guys, saw one before, which I can't remember the name of, but that one of the dwarves, which was like a bit of a fake guild. And a lot of people start contracting the Strangelings to fix problems. And it starts a sort of an influx of money to the Strangelings, and because the Strangelings are the Strangelings, it's also an influx of money to Veluna. So the city of Veluna starts very quickly to expand and become quite a big. Not like a power necessarily, but like a big city. What results from that is all of the other countries and just generally people start going, well, if you want to make a lot of money, it seems that the way to do that is to make a guild. And slowly over the 423 years, it goes from people just making guilds, none of which managed to be as good as the Strangelings, because the Strangelings are the most popular because they literally saved the world. Eventually getting to this idea that countries start making what are called guild supremes. Like it starts, I believe, with Pharaon are the first to do it, where one guild sort of owns all of the other guilds, or at least controls all of the other guilds, because there's an issue of guilds sort of who has what territory, who takes what jobs, and within a country they start going, okay, how about we start organizing so that there's like a very sort of nice organized.
It's Diana Ross in this universe.
Oh, oops. Carry on. I just knocked something off the back of my desk.
With that, each country starts making these guild supremes until eventually, I can't remember. Eventually, King Theron Bragan. So you will know King Theron Bragan as the spoilt brat son of King Alwyn Bragan, who unfortunately by this point has passed away. Gets really jealous that he wants to create the Guild Supreme of Carmanthia, but the Strangelings is too big and powerful to let that happen. So what does King Theron Bragan do? King Theron Bragan disbands the Strangelings Guild and creates the Dilrak. It creates the Dilrak and Strangelings Academy for the Arcane Arts and Martial Proficiency under the guise of being like, this is an honor. We're turning you into a university, because the Strangelings Guild is already training people and stuff. It's like, we're turning you into a proper university. You no longer have to be a guild. You're no longer like going to be doing any of this guildy stuff, and we'll have the main guild. Corsia will have the main guild, and you can do your own thing and be a university and not a guild. Grumble. A few years later, the idea of like one ruling body expands even further, because now countries are sort of battling for who does the big things. If like there's a dragon attack, or if there's some big evil dude trying to do stuff, who gets to take that job? And they create what's called the Adventurers Guild, which is there is a representative from every single country that has a guild supreme that have a ruling body, kind of like the EU, and the Adventurers Guild is in charge of the Guild Supremes, who are in charge of the guilds in that country. So there's this big sort of stage thing. And that's sort of the position that the world is in. Is obviously there's lots of other jobs, but the big thing is that Adventurers Guilds happen. There's a proper like ranking system. So think a la One Punch, the sort of superhero system, where they have classifications of superhero depending on how well they do, or how well they know, and stuff like that. It's obviously not exactly the same. There's the same sort of idea that some adventurers are better, so they have higher like titles.
Hunter.
Some are much lower, so they don't. They deal with smaller problems, and the ones at the top get paid more, the ones at the bottom get paid less, and it's this sort of big staged system. And it's for a lot of people, it's like a big thing. Like, we love the people at the adventures and the adventures in the Adventure Guild. Other things that happen during that sort of time that would be of any interest to you. There's a minor thing that about 93 years after the end of C2, about exactly 93 years and 2 months, a group of the Aesima that live in Veluna break off. They decide that they can't. The ASMR in Veluna don't particularly. They are straying away from what it is to be an ASMR, so they make their own little tribe and break off and move up to Faron Major. So they kind of become two different ASMR tribes. The tensions of Damor and Damarth sort of reach critical mass, and there's a lot of like assassinations and stuff like that. And Damarth and Damor officially become two countries again, as they have constantly fluctuated. As I said, King Elwyn Bragan dies. That's a bit of a controversy because he dies kind of early, 828, which for an elf is about 100 years earlier than would be expected, but it's due to complications of magic. It's like the official statement that comes out, and there's a big investigation, and everyone's like, what happened? Was it, an assassination? What's the problem? And there's a large court... Pardon?
Pour one out for our friend King Bragan.
There's a large-scale court case started for the malpractice of cleric Miel Petril. So it kind of becomes a name of like people. It splits the world of like people who are against or with, and did this happen? Lots of rumors and all that kind of stuff. No one really knows what actually happened. Well, some people I'm sure will, but the general public don't. I will also say we now have a date system. There is a year. So the end of C2 was in the year 6419 according to the New Elven calendar. Just so that I can have references. So in 6593, which is about just under 200 years later from C2, Kugurom invades Gen and Ekte, which are the countries below it. It's obviously creates a big thing. A couple of years later, Damor and Damarth, of course, they do start creating the discussions of treaty, because once again they talk about, well, maybe we shouldn't be two separate countries. Won't they? And about 26 years after that, Damor and Damarth become one country again called Flawari. And so they become two countries, and then about 120 years later they become one country again, because it's generational things. The next generation thinks they know better than the previous generation. Quite a lot later after that, the Kugurom incursion reaches a treaty. Effectively, most of the world knows that Kugurom invaded, but they stretched themselves a little thin because Ekte fought back. And let me just bring this up so I can get the right country names. Ekte fought back and was helping out like Elesduin, who are obviously quite small. And bear with me 1 second on this one.
Enjoying Alex's history lesson?
I can just not.
No, that was not ironic. That was not.
Sorry, I thought you were being sarcastic.
I was being sarcastic.
The country of Gen, which you've been to, which has Zarim, which is where Bembi had moved to. Gen was invaded during this war and no longer exists. Effectively, as part of the treaty to just make sure that the war ends, everyone from Gen effectively has to move down to Ekte, and some go further down to Kizarek, because Ekte is a huge place.
They didn't kill the Bembi family, did they?
You don't know that.
Alex.
But Kugurom officially owns the bit that it had before, and all of Gen now becomes Giffarum. But Elesduin expands outwards to part of what it used to own. So
I'm going to reinforce
of, like, who was what.
Dwarves bad. We don't like the dwarves.
There's rumors of people who don't know. Obviously, some would know whether it's true or not. That one of the big reasons that the dwarves had to stop fighting is because they started modifying themselves to be like cybernetic cyborg type with their robots, and it just got to the point where they could no longer really reproduce because there were rumors of them calling out for dwarves of other parts of the world to move to Kugurom so that they can start breeding again. But whether that's true or not is one of those who knows kind of a thing. And then after that there's a lot of like things joining the Adventurers Guild, and we kind of get to where C3 is. Another fun thing that's just sort of to pop in there, Hydra, the city of Hydra, which is that like it had the train, it was all the grungs, and it was a super duper like high-tech city, is now hundreds of miles in the air. The entire city floats like above the clouds as its own like huge. It's still a part of Faron Minor, but it's a floating city at this point. And teleportation has become like train stations. They're called teleportation stations, and the further you go, the more it costs. They are capitalized, and it costs to transport around the world. There's a few places where it doesn't. There's a few places where it's cheaper. In most places, it costs at least for running costs. In some places, it's just like ridiculous. But as with in this, if you're trying to get an airplane to the other side of the country, I do have a table for this, but it can cost like almost 1,000 gold to get like the other side of the country. It's just ridiculous kind of expenses. So the other side of the world rather than the side of the country. And that's kind of the history between then and now. I mean, obviously other things will vaguely change and stuff, but
what you're saying is teleportation is still not.
So
it's easy if you're rich.
Long distance teleportation, just using your own magic, is not allowed. Obviously, it's still possible because magic exists, but it is an illegal action in almost every country. In fact, in every country, or if it's not, like in Hybris, there isn't necessarily specific rules against it, but other countries will start trying to tell you off if you do it because it's a danger.
I swear to God, if capitalism isn't the BBEG of C3, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
Capitalism's the BBEG of every campaign.
Speaking of BBEGs, I just wanted to interrupt this with an update from our wonderful Tory government, because Neil Parish MP has resigned after he, quote-unquote, accidentally opened porn on his phone in the House of Commons.
I heard
the House of Commons.
Yes.
His excuse is that he was looking for a tractor and that the search terms are very similar.
What pod did he watch?
Okay, so moving back into the D&D world, but we can ignore that stuff exists. There is another thing that I will add in. We're adding, just whilst I'm looking at the notes before I get you guys asking sort of proper questions. We're going to be adding in a new rule, and we're going to be going back to a rule that we kind of had before. The rule that we kind of had before, but we never really did, is crit trains, where if you roll a natural 20 on an attack, you can roll again to see if you get a second natural 20, and if you do, you can sort of double up that damage, and if you get the second natural 20, you get to roll again to see if you get a third natural 20. The chances of it happening, ridiculously low, but as you know, currently, if you get a critical hit, let's say you do 2d6 as your attack, you would do full dice damage of 12, plus you roll the d6. If you got a second crit 20 in that dice train, you'd then do 24 because it's double the full dice damage plus you do the roll. So it just like stacks and stacks and stacks. There's some idea of you getting like a super duper combo, like I like saying a la for some reason. Super duper combo like in Street Fighter or something when you've hit the right buttons and do the fatality.
Is the train roll? Do you only get that like the train damage if you hit another natural 20, or is it just like getting to hit their AC again?
Only the natural 20.
Cool.
Only the natural 20. And it's not like with barbarians or fighters, you can do some situations when 19s count as critical hits. It's only on a 20.
Oh, that's rude.
It is rude. It's only on the 20. But yes, the second roll, if you don't get a 20, it just nothing happens.
Well, judging by the DM rolls in campaign 2, it sounds like all of the NPCs have a season pass on the crit train.
Yeah. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of that just outright killing us at a low level because it's going to be so
crit
easy.
Trains are very unlikely unless it's an
armor.
Enemy to the party, in which case they will roll consistently.
The second rule, which may be slightly adjusted, is one that Greg sent to me from TikTok. I love a lot of D&D stuff on TikTok because people talk about the homebrew rules, and I love introducing these kinds of things. It's a rule called the sacrifice rule, which is effectively sacrificing yourself for another person to take the damage. So it's very much the get down, Mr. President, I'll take the damage for you. Which does exist in some magical ways. Obviously, you saw from Barty, but that was like teleporting from further away. This is only within 10 feet. So it works against physical and magical attacks, melee ranged, and DC saves. It's just sort of just damage. There will be situations where you wouldn't be able to do it. For example, if both of you are caught in like an explosion, like a fireball, one of you wouldn't be able to jump in front of the other because you're both kind of going to take that anyway. But in most cases,
but if someone's outside of that fireball range,
then
they could,
within 10 feet. So it's a reaction. It uses a reaction, so you can only do that once per round. Within 10 feet. If taken before the outcome of the attack is known, so before you know whether or not the enemy's attack meets or goes over the AC of your friend, you just take the full
DC save. Like the person being targeted.
Yeah. So before you know whether it's a save or meets or whatever, you can do the sacrifice and you'll just take the full damage. You, as the person jumping in front of the bullet, would just take the full damage. If you do it after you know that it's going to hit, you take damage as if it were a critical hit. So if you know it's going to hit them, so before it's like it's a chance, it could hit them. You'll take damage. It isn't about, you don't then roll to see whether or not it hits them. You just take that damage because you're jumping in front of the sword. If you know it's going to hit them and like they have 1 HP and it's going to kill them, whatever, you take it as a critical hit. So it is a risky situation to be in. It's not one of those you just want to constantly be doing because it will increase the average damage output from the enemy. And then there's the ones where it's put down as optional by Greg.
I put it as optional because it's a little cheesy.
So reaction within sight / hearing distances of the attack. It's about whether or not you can. It's about. I can't word. You read it.
Oh, I'm not looking at it.
Okay. Reaction within sight / hearing distance of the attacking the target. The enemy gets disadvantage on attacking the original target, or the original target gets advantage on the save. My brain is not apparently dealing with what that means, thanks to dyslexia.
Hold on.
But the enemy gets advantage on the target. Yeah, I'm gonna drink the coffee and.
So it's essentially the same thing, except so if you're reacting from a distance, your sacrifice is that giving the enemy disadvantage on attacking the target, and the next turn they get advantage on attacking you.
So that's more like a distraction. Sorry, yes, that's where my brain was. So if you can just see them or hear them, so it's outside of that 10 foot that the reaction has to be in for the sacrifice. It's more like a hey, look at me, and it does that. I'm not sure about those ones because it is a bit cheesy, and I think the problem is it comes into like, why not just do that every turn?
Yeah, because
they get advantage on the next one, but it's a bit of an iffy one. The first one though, jumping in front of it to take the damage, whether or not you know that they've hit you, or taking the critical if you know it's going to hit them. I like that.
There's a
because
direct
it's the kind of thing
cost
you would
to
do.
that. There's a guaranteed cost.
It's the kind of thing you would do, and it also gives more of an advantage for having a tanky character. Someone who has a lot of health can just like constantly take those attack damages in front of the wizard who just cannot take any more, something like that. So yeah, that's just the extra rule which we will put in and try to remember to use. So with that, any questions so far? No?
Not so far.
Nothing.
Wow. I'm just too good at my job.
No, I wasn't listening.
Wow.
Raise your hand if you weren't listening. Yeah, I was about to say, raise your hand if you weren't listening.
It's fine.
No,
it's just
I
my
was
passion
listening.
project.
I was listening, but I knew most of it. I was listening, but I knew most of it. Fuck.
No, I was listening. The only thing I think you said which I wasn't aware of was the floating city. Which one was it? The one in
Hydra.
Hydra.
There's a fun thing as well, which you will enjoy in the city of Veluna. I'll bring up the map of Veluna in a second, or maybe I'll get Greg.
Can you send it to? Yeah. Actually, do I have it somewhere? I think I do. I have it here. But
the new one. Is it the new one?
Not the sepia tone one, but it is the. It does have Fluari on it.
No, sorry, the map of Veluna, not the map of the world.
Oh. No.
Then I will send that to you guys. In Veluna, I mean, your old characters would have known this, and it's a little bit meta, but it's something you'll find out anyway. There is now a... Oh, I'm looking at the wrong folder, that's why I can't find it. There is a elite force of kind of like jet suit fighter type thing. So, you know, over the top of Veluna, the ASMR have like a flying guard. They always have since they've been there. And at the end of C2, during the big epic everyone coming in to fight, there was some grung that came in with these like flying suits, these wing suits, like these big mechanical jet suits with big wings.
Yeah.
Effectively, there is only about 10 of them, but over top of Veluna, there is an elite squadron of highly trained guards who fly around with these jet suits. They're extremely fast because they run off a more stable version of the fuel that the Falcon used to fly off, and you know how fast that was. And they are effectively like fast response, extreme elite unit. That like it's like if you tried to fly a jet, you'd never be able to do it.
Falcon from Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah. It's like if you guys try to get in a jet and try to fly it, you'd have basically no chance. That's the kind of level these.
But it would be fun to try.
But it takes a while to get into the suit, but they will get there. They're not going to be responding to just like a standard robbing, someone robbing it. Like it'll be like a dragon attack or like an explosion or something. I'm
just saying, this is the energy I want to bring to C3. Is it would be fun to try.
Have a what if episode. So the map for Veluna has been updated. It's gone quiet. The music's just haven't come at a quiet moment.
Yeah, we're in subtle right now.
The map for Veluna has been updated slightly. I think I've mostly shown you guys. In the Veluna has expanded, like I said, with the amount of money that the Strangelings was bringing in, and therefore tourism and people wanting to live there and stuff. It's like had a massive boom. So there's the map of the new Veluna as it is for the beginning of the campaign, which has many more sections, some of which you'll recognize, some of which you won't. The bit that says DSAAMP, that's the university. Those are those red buildings. The giant blue bit is a mall. And yeah, no, it's not a modern mall, but it is a gigantic shopping center because why wouldn't there be? Which has all sorts of stalls and things. Some of it is like big brands, some of it is small brands. I believe we agreed that Etch's shop still exists within the mall purely because of the I'm not moving attitude. Because Etch is now a professor at the university, so has someone else who looks after the shop, but never wanted to sell the shop, so it just exists in the mall. It's like kind of out of place, but it's still there.
Yes.
I love that energy.
You guys all know Etch. Just imagine his reaction to most of that shit that happened over the last 400 years.
Oh yeah. I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, Etch is still going strong. Still a professor.
Yay. Strong.
Yay,
you know what I mean? Like he's still alive. But yes, it's a wonderful. I mean, I won't tell you too much about like the city of Veluna because you won't know a lot of the stuff. But there's many interesting things about all sorts of it. If you looked at the old map versus the new map, not that you'll have the old map.
It's hard to line it up because you turned it.
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
Same orientation.
What the hell?
Okay, I'll send the old map.
Look at the sheer cliffs.
It's exactly the same orientation.
Damn.
Incidentally, I had always, all the time we were playing in Veluna, I'd always just thought that the sheer cliffs went downwards.
No, they go up.
They go upwards, exactly. When Alex and I were talking the other day.
Yeah.
What?
It goes upwards.
I thought they went downwards.
Yeah, I thought
there's an extra bit.
But it goes up.
I thought it went
you always said the city goes down the side of the mountain.
Yeah, I always thought it went up because
but,
it wasn't
wraps around.
in the sheer cliff that had the thingy. Now I've moved too far the other way.
Whatever, that's the same thing. Whatever that existed as. But the point is that the city going from left to right, in the most part, stages down the mountain. So like each of these like sections, sort of different platforms down the mountain. The big yellow bit that has the very uniform buildings, that is the Hollow. That's where the ASMR lived. It's not just ASMR now, but like it's uniform because the ASMR made it uniform, and now they're proper buildings, but they're still uniform because that's how it always was. And there's just lots of different parts. But you can see in the comparison, the areas are similar, but they've expanded out and there's more. The shape of the park is exactly the same. If you want reference sort of like a little bit there.
You can see the guild building up in the top left-hand corner.
The gigantic hole in the center has been basically completely filled in.
Except for the castle, because you said that it's a historical site.
Yeah. Castle hasn't been filled in, and you can see in the new one there's the ruins of the old castle.
You were going to fill it in, and then I complained.
Yeah, that is true. just for clarification, I said I would, and they said they don't want me to, so I said I won't because that's how this works.
Are the ruins the sort of what's the orange area called? Old Castle. I see.
Old Castle.
The top left-hand.
The area called Old Castle. Yeah.
The top left-hand bit with all the
the bit that doesn't have like the grey. It's more just the outside.
It's just flat lines. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The purple building, which you can see, is now called the Old Clock Tower. It's what was obviously the Clock Tower.
Clock Tower, yeah.
Top left is Doug Next Dream still exists.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
You mean Doug
isn't it called
again?
Exactly, Dug Nut Dreams again.
Dug Nut Dreams again.
I bet Etch still occasionally walks to the clock tower out of just habit.
Probably.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's like, oh,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Wasn't meant to go here.
I wouldn't be surprised if Etch has like the clock tower is completely blocked off to the public these days, but Etch probably still has like a key that he definitely shouldn't have to just go up there when he wants to chill.
They just never changed the locks.
Yeah. Of course, the council has changed a little bit since you guys would know it, but I won't tell you too much about that because, again, the big buildings in Eldora, like the north where the school is, the big buildings on the right that aren't filled in with red. The one in the bottom corner, the slightly bigger one, is a gigantic library, and the one above it that's more of the rectangle is the town hall. I say city hall. And then there's some sort of richer buildings around there. Some of the areas are richer than others, like Old Castle and Old Imgim, like sort of like the western side of Old Imgim are like much more rich.
Imgim is rich. Jesus, that was the opposite before.
Exactly.
Now it's like living in historic downtown or something like that.
Southreach is like a factory area. Those big buildings on the west of Southreach are all just warehouses and factories, and the right hand side is some buildings, but like it's not great to be living down there because it's just so many factories, a lot of noise and warehouses and all that kind of stuff.
Like living in an industrial park.
I think I do actually have. I'll bring it up. I think I have written out the notes properly, so I'm not just. Cities. God, so much stuff.
I still love that the map says.
So the bricks is now in the Southreach. The bricks is now in Southreach.
No, the bricks is its own thing.
The bricks is still there. It's right along the edge of the hollow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
It's the purple bit.
Yeah, it looks like it's really hard to go from the old map to the new map.
Oh yeah.
And the heavy outlines on some of the sections and then not there it throws me off.
Yeah.
It's because so the heavy outlines are when it's higher or lower than the previous place. That's like a step down the mountain.
I see.
Whereas if there isn't a heavy outline, that's just because it's on the same platform. Or like similar enough that it doesn't count as like
I imagine it was
down.
all platform, like almost.
It is a little bit, but those other bits are like bigger. There's like huge amounts of steps and stuff
that
like
actually makes sense. Yeah.
So like the bits in the middle, there's little bits of variation, but that's not too much compared to the other bits, which are like big stages down the mountain. I have like big amounts of like what each of the areas is like, but I'll wait on that for now because you'll explore that when you actually go there.
I can say explain why it's Desant.
Yes, I will in a second. I was going to say also those flying guard are called the Metal Hawks. They're called the Metal Hawks.
I want one.
So Desamp stands for something, which I have already said.
Well, thank you for clarifying.
I was trying not to give that.
I should never allow more than a 0.2 second space between anything I say, otherwise there will be a sarcastic comment. I've already said what it stands for.
Have you?
It's the Dilrek and Strangelings Academy for the Arcane Arts and Martial Proficiency.
What was the first word again?
Dilrek. So it used to be Dilrek University. No.
That's right.
No, Dilrek isn't the name of the mountain? No, it's not. It's not. Dilrek University is the old university.
Yes, it's the old square.
Which
I may have named it that because that's the name of the mountain, to be honest.
I don't think so. I think it's named after somebody. Oh, it's in there somewhere. Anyway, so it's the Dilrek and Strangelings Academy because it's combined the two for the Arcane Arts and Martial Proficiency because it teaches both Arcane and Martial. Most people call it Strangelings University. That's kind of just how it's called. I can tell you some things because your characters would know these details.
That's given me such Monsters University.
Yeah, what do we read about Strangelings University in the pamphlet that we got before?
Before you what's the section of the university at the bottom? That sort of broken oblong ring shape.
The one that's like two C shapes, one inverse, and the bits between. That is the accommodation.
Okay, fine, thank you.
The accommodation has a gigantic green patch in the center, and it's just a lot of flats. I think I worked out at some point it holds like 1,000 students.
It's where we're gonna live.
It's not particularly tall. It's only like 2 floors tall, but and then the sort of slightly separate building on the right of that is the refectory.
Just to clarify,
dinner hall.
The colours on the 2 maps are not related. Yeah.
Not particularly. They kind of are. Like, I've kept similar colors for the ones that still exist. So, for example, the stacks is a similar color, but it's not the same color. Nusabra is a similar color. Like, the ones that exist in the old one, in that sort of lower section, are similar colors. In the top bit, no, those aren't.
But the yellow and green are the other way around.
No, they're not.
Are they not?
Nope.
Yeah, they are.
No.
No?
Yeah, they are.
The borders have changed.
You're looking at the right-hand side.
Look where the clock tower is.
Yeah, just to clarify, you see that big blue blob? That's in the green area of the bottom one. The green area that you're seeing on the other one is like massive, miles out from where that used to exist. Like the old map is the very tiny center of the new map.
It looks like the hollow has expanded.
Yeah.
The best reference I can make is I've actually added in where the university fits in the bottom map. You see the park is that big sort of weird shaped green bit. That is exactly the same size as the weird shaped green bit in the top of the new map, the first one I posted.
And the clock tower is the same spot.
The clock tower.
So that pale blue area, what's it called? I can't read it. Grant or something, is pretty much. That's
outside of that. That's not on the bottom map.
That's
Grant doesn't exist.
That's the first new bit. Yeah. So that the yellow, green, and purple there are further. They're in.
I think.
Where that lake is and that sort of shopping mall is and that sort of area there. Yeah, that makes sense.
The shopping mall is in where Nusabra is, that sort of green area in the old map, the second one I posted. Doesn't matter. You'll get the idea. It's massive compared to what it used to be. Absolutely massive.
I see.
Like the sunken sector is that yellow bit on the left of the first map I posted.
Yeah.
The yellow bit.
On the left-hand side, which has a big bit beneath it.
The ACMR,
so like it's a lot of expansion.
Yeah.
About the university. What would you see on the pamphlet? Well, some of this was sort of beyond there. I was going to go into more of like the educational details, but we'll get into the pamphlet-y stuff in a second. You know that the dean is called Parin Dwinadere. Dwinadere being a name that you should recognize. I'll let you work out where from.
Yes, definitely.
Because you know C2 very well.
Dwinadere.
Sorry, I wrote a lot of lore about Veluna, and nobody else knows it because we didn't talk about it more than once.
It's not something that you should be like. You'd have heard the name.
Can't wait for Brian David Gilbert's next video exploring the lore of Veluna.
Yeah.
You have to admit though, having this much lore is kind of fun, even if you.
I admire you for doing it. I'm just never going to read it, and I could never do it myself.
If I was to say Talal Dwinadere.
Nope.
That would not help.
You don't remember Tal?
He turned into a gigantic monster with a sword for an arm that you took down.
I thought you said Talal.
Yeah,
I thought you said
Tal is his full name.
Is it?
Well, we didn't know that. We knew him as Tal.
We probably did know that.
Anyway, so his descendant, actually no, probably not many down because he's an elf, is Parin Dwinadere, who is the dean of the university. So the way the university works, and this is one of those where you do not have to absorb it all, but just be generally listening because I think it's quite interesting. I've come up with exactly how the university works. Yes, I have a problem.
Make it 2 orientations.
There's 3 types of course that can be done. There's a beginner educational course, an advanced educational course, and a specialization course, which are acronymed as you would expect: BEC, AEC, and SC. The courses that you will be doing are 3 years long. In the first year, you do 3 beginner educational courses. That's just how it is, which all of you guys have already chosen. You know that one. In the second year, you either upgrade one of those beginner educational courses into... sorry, I'll start again because it's going to get confusing if I start that way around. You can do 1 advanced educational course and 2 beginner educational courses, or
2
oh my god, I've completely confused myself with how I've written it down, and I hate that so much.
I think it's 2 advanced courses is the alternative.
What I've put is 1 AEC, 2 BECs or AECs. Which I wrote about 2 months ago, 3-4 months ago. That there is a thing that you can't do an advanced educational course unless you've already done a beginner's educational course in it.
I remember you sending it to me and it made sense. What changed?
What changed is that I've done so much writing over the past few months for C3 that this has just like lost itself in the sea.
This is a lot more technical than what you have been writing, which is more quest stuff. You want to just send it in the chat and then we can make sense of it and help?
Yeah. Basically, as you go up, you can do... you can turn one of those beginners into an advanced and then do 2 beginners. Oh yeah, I've got it. Okay, so either you do 1 advanced educational course and 2 beginners educational courses, which can be separate educational courses, or you just do 2 advanced educational courses. So what I've done there is I've said 1 educational course, and as well as that, 2 beginners or 1 advanced. So the point is, you can't sort of like take on too much at the same time.
You're trying to meet credit hours.
Exactly, but the 2 beginners that you do in the second year can be 2 completely different. So by that point, you could be doing 5 beginner courses. It's really up to you. In the third year, you do 1 specialization course, which of course has to be one of the advanced courses you did, and 1 beginner or advanced course. So in the final year, you can do only 2 courses, which will either be 1 specialization and 1 beginner, or 1 specialization and 1 advanced. If you're insane, you can sort of really just do a ton of advanced courses. The thing that sort of like determines for yourself whether or not you want to do beginners, advanced, or specializations, or that you have to do one of the specializations, is they're all worth different amounts of credit points, which at the end of your entire course are added together, and that's your final kind of like score. So a beginner educational course. Yeah, a beginner's educational course is up to 5 credit points, because of course it depends how well you do in the course. An advanced educational course is worth up to 10 credit points, and the specialization is worth up to 15. You can get 1 in all of them, and then you'll probably fail. But the point is, you can choose to do a load of advanced courses and get like an absolute ton, but it'll be so much harder. You know, if you did 3 beginners in the first year, moved that to 2 advanced, and then did 1 specialization, and then the advanced of the 1 course that you didn't turn into an advanced from your first year, you get tons of points, but you're also going to be stressed as fuck, and you're never going to like have a life.
In a repetition of what I said to Greg, I really appreciate that you went through all of this effort without going completely over my head, and I'm not going to absorb any of it.
No, it's fine.
I
expect that, but it's just so you are vaguely aware. And at the end of it,
I'm not vaguely aware. I don't know what happened.
What are the points for?
The last 5 minutes.
So at the end, the points make prizes. At the end, the points
make a driving ban. Woo!
The points. So it's not like it's kind of like in England where you get like a first or a second, except you get a number at the end of your degree. So like, I'll tell you that in a second. And when you show that to a job, they can see that number and know how well you did in general. So it goes with, you get an ADIP, which is an academic diploma, which is standard nomenclature for a degree in a university in GEL. Then ONS, which is honours, which is a favorite thing, which you only get from top universities. So GEL's, the Dual American Strange University, is classified as like a top university, so they can give honours. Then it gets a number. For example, 48, if you've got 48 credit points, or 36, you've got 36, or whatever, that number goes there. And then it says in Arcane Studies is what I've written down here, for whatever your specialization was. So an example would be ADIP ONS 48 in Arcane Studies. And that's what you'd hand to your job, and they'd be like, hey, look, this is what I do.
TLDR, you're going to school.
Cool.
Hey, listen, it makes a lot more sense for me to have this written down so that as we go through,
I feel like it's a lot more useful for you than it is.
Basically, what I'm doing here is showing you that I put a lot of fucking effort into this, so you better appreciate it.
I didn't go to uni for a reason.
I appreciate that, but I went to university for 7 years and I have no interest in going back. So,
well, now you are. As a different person.
I mean, the pamphlet that you would have been given or would have seen would be like really like, oh, it's so amazing, oh, it's so good. It would like boast that, you know, they're the top university in the world, which they are classified as.
You're just talking about universities. This is real.
They'd go over like basic information though, right? They'd be like, our room and board is so illustrious and amazing, and
so
our meal plans.
Like they do in real life.
Yeah. You'll have a accommodation, which is basically a flat, what are the American apartment, which you will share with 4 other people. How convenient, right? Because there's 5.
Yeah.
I wonder if that would have changed if we had less people in DBDnD. It's really convenient.
No, we don't have to have an NPC that lived with us full time.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're also aware that
Segeth the Fourth.
What's what?
Did she say an FPC?
NPC.
NPC.
I swear you said
NPC.
Yeah, NPC. So you're also aware that you don't, at least in the first year, you don't have to make food. There is the lunch, the dinner hall, which serves lunch.
You don't have to make food. You will die of starvation.
No, there's no kitchen. There's no kitchen in your apartment because there's the dining hall, which you go to for your food. You can buy food, and like there's storage for it, but like it's not really expected because you go to the dinner hall.
Is this all information we would know before going here?
Yeah.
Okay.
You would also be aware that there's 2 different ways, really, of getting into the university. Either, in every way you have to do aptitude tests, but with the aptitude tests in mind, either you pay for it, or you get a scholarship, which is fairly standard. But the way scholarships tend to work from Strangelings University is not you apply and they say, "Oh, we'll consider it," which sometimes happens. It's more likely you get sought out. Like if you have been showing off like a lot of proficiency, someone might send a note and it might get sent over, and if they're interested, they'll come and see you. And a representative of the university, a representative of the university will come over and be like, "Is this like a real thing?" Kind of like imagine, Avatar. Like with the scene with Korra where someone comes along and like, let's see if this is actually the Avatar. Except of course you're not the Avatar, you're just someone who's kind of clever.
Let's see if you truly are hot shit.
So it's a mixture of rich people and clever people, but they tend to all be clever. All of your characters will have done an aptitude test. There are 2 types of aptitude tests. One is a written aptitude test, and one is a physical aptitude test. Depends on what course you're applying for as to which aptitude test you do, but it is a fairly commonly known fact that you can kind of, let's say that you are really fit, but you want to do like a degree that depends on your brain. You could just apply for completely fitness-based university courses, get in based on your aptitude tests on fitness, and when you get there, say, "Hey, by the way, I actually want to do these 3 courses," and they'll probably just shift you over. It's a terrible idea because you've already skipped past the aptitude test, but it is technically possible. So all of you, for the courses that you're picking, I'm not going to make you roll or do things because, of course, all of you are going to the university. Otherwise, it's going to be really boring for your characters if you don't make it to the university.
Well, fun fact, Neva doesn't get into university.
So you have a campaign where like 4 of us are sort of doing stuff, and then the other one. And what's your character doing? Well, I'm just making a sandwich. Gotta go
playing video games, eating Cheetos.
Making a peanut butter jelly sandwich right now. Wanting to sit down and watch the clouds roll by.
As an aside, I love peanut butter. I've never tried peanut butter and jelly.
Me either.
It's really nice.
I've never had peanut butter.
When I was growing up, when I was a youngster,
you're allergic to peanuts, aren't you?
Exactly.
I wouldn't do that then.
Hey, I remembered it.
But when I was growing up, right, the fact that in America jelly is what we call jam wasn't common knowledge. So I grew up thinking a peanut butter and jelly sandwich was peanut butter and what you call Jello in a sandwich, and it was like, I was like, why would anybody eat that? Sounds horrible.
I used to think that when I was younger as well, because of the enthusiasm as like there was most of England, which is like, America's fucking weird. Why would you have jelly in a sandwich?
Well, exactly.
And biscuits and gravy.
Well,
exactly.
I didn't think it was that weird because, again, I hadn't had peanut butter either, so I wouldn't have known what would have been a good combination with it.
Jello in a sandwich would just be so funny though, because you go like this.
And again, biscuits and gravy. I always pictured like digestive biscuits.
Yeah, and gravy.
With gravy on them. And I thought, well, it sounds like it could work, but but then when I went to Red Lobster first, I was like,
you get.
I mean, I do
the nice biscuits. That's what I thought they had for gravy, and I was like, "Fuck! There's way too much sugar on the nice biscuits anyway."
I'm going to clarify, Greg, just to be confusing. There is a brand called Nice. It is a nice biscuit.
A biscuit
just a
made by
I stopped listening when it became so heavily British that I had to actively think with every word you spoke.
But I do like when I finally found out what biscuits are. Those sort of puffies. What we've got a dumpling.
Like dumplings.
Yeah, but they're lighter and fluffier, and they're really nice. They're really nice. Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
Okay,
I think I've mostly splurged all the information that at this point it's worth me saying anything about.
Cool.
So I want to
answer
know
questions
if
about Edge.
Yeah, we can talk about Edge a little bit. I was also going to say, I wonder if you'll have any like predictions or just things that you want to see from the.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know if
it's
not a prediction, but I am intrigued to see that Mark's character shares a surname with his previous character.
Previous but one.
But I don't think Flint had any kids.
Interesting, isn't it?
And that is a point for speculation, and I love speculation.
Edge knows a little bit because he's existed.
Yeah, Edge knows a bit.
Yeah, there are certain things that Greg knows because Edge knows them rather than Greg knows. But not because I'm just like, hey, you know that, but because Edge is around, and
there's a chance that I may have to play him a bit.
Yeah, there's genuine points that Greg may have to actually.
I don't think anybody's going to be taking hematology, but there's a chance.
Hey, you kids!
No, I'm pretty sure Neva's probably going to be a hemophobic.
Yeah, I think it is hemophobic.
Yeah, I think it's hemophobic.
Although, yeah. You should also know that I have a massive Excel
roster of
document.
classes.
Well, I have a massive Excel document that has all of the different courses that you can take. There are 38 courses that can be taken, all of which have professors, sometimes multiple. All of them have a minimum of 3 modules. I then have a list of the
Hemocraft, not hematology.
36 different professors that exist, what subjects they do, and a lot of them that you'll at least interact with to start with have descriptions. I have a list of the buildings,
in the dungeon.
I have a list of the buildings and what subjects go on in what buildings. I have all of your guys' subjects that have been enrolled, and a couple of NPCs that you would be interacting with, and all the subjects that they're enrolled with. I have this is just all of the tabs on this Excel document. One of the pages is all of the different subjects that you guys have in common with each other, which I used for different timetabling, so I know who's going to be doing what.
I can't remember what subjects I chose now.
I then have a timetable for every single one of you. Have I sent Simon? I don't think I've sent that one to you because you didn't have a character at that point.
You sent it to me, and I remember you specifically arranging it to piss my character off.
Character sheet.
I have got my subject. I know that.
I keep forgetting that I can say their name now because we all already said it. I've trained my brain to just say my C3 character.
So I'll resend to anyone who can't find them. But yes,
I don't know where mine is.
You all have a timetable.
I don't have a timetable, but I do.
I feel like I'm at school already. I've lost my timetable.
I then have
flashbacks.
I then have a group timetable, which is massive, which is all of you guys. It's just for me. It's on each day. It's where each of you will be at every hour as like the.
That's so.
Subjects.
That's so much.
Because if you want to skip through a day, it's fine. But if you want to go through,
are we attending classes?
Yeah, but
oh my God, please,
I'm not going to be having
attend
you go to every class. You will be attending classes, but it's not like you're going to be role playing that very often. I then also have the timetables of all of the professors.
I was going to say I don't want to be doing homework for D&D.
And then so I have all of the professors' ones and what they are. For some reason, one of the pictures is in the wrong place, but that's fine. So yeah, when I say I've done a lot for C3, that's about that's a lot of what I've done. But there is more. There's even more than.
Of course, there's more. Why wouldn't that be?
But the rest of it is more to do with like the city and stuff that I'm not going to tell you right now.
It's so exciting to be playing both a young person and an extremely old person.
The biggest thing
I know what that's like too, actually. Hilarious.
You're all going to be
simultaneously, in my case.
You're all going to be playing level 1 characters, which is going to be so great in comparison to where you were.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Felix was young and very old.
When I was playing Tav. So if I just get back to my Tav character sheet for a second.
Your Tav tab.
My Tav character. Where is he? Where is he? There he is. Lord Tavris Morialis. He was at 224 hit points when we finished. And, you know, if you hit him in the face with a fireball, he would go, ow. Whereas my new character, I can tell you, has 10 hit points.
Less.
I
So
can
if you
tell you,
sneeze at him,
there's
he
not a
would
lot of
die.
difference between Elsie's hit points and.
Is there really not? Have you looked at the two numbers?
I mean, they're still under, like, compared to, like, everybody else's difference.
Single
There's not a
digits,
lot of
baby.
Yeah, I mean, Tav was pretty OP by the time we finished.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Because having the ability to have three of me at the same time, that was good fun.
Yeah.
It'd be fun for you to know. I'm not going to give you the details on it, but Tav is still alive at the beginning of C3 because
right.
Tav is the Nightwalker.
Yeah, he's the Nightwalker.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so I've kept my Tav sheet, although my Tav sheet is by now it would be very
Font.
different. His stats would be very different, I imagine. I should go back to my new character now. Cal. There he is. Yes, and the good thing about the new characters, of course, being in level 1 is if you start with a character, like in the authors and editors one, if you start with a character which is just a number of levels up, there's a lot of choice about what they can do, but you don't actually have any experience in it yet. So I find with that, my character, my me in authors, which is great fun. I struggle to remember what it is I can actually do. And the same with Tav when we started with Tav, because he was about 10,
17, 16, I think. Level 16.
He was quite high level when we started, and he had a load, and I was constantly whizzing up and down his descriptions and things, trying to remember what it is he can do.
Try changing class at level.
Yes, exactly, yes.
18 or over the
every 5 minutes. Yeah, exactly.
It is very hard, and I do sympathise for you doing that.
But
you are right.
I was going to say,
you will find a lot more. You will know the complexities of your characters a lot more.
Exactly, because we're starting off level 1 is so simple, so little that they can do. I think.
Hopefully, in this campaign, we won't have everyone going, "What can I do again?"
Yeah, I mean, the real
learn what's good for you guys to be doing, and also,
I'll definitely be doing that.
It'll boost your guys' interaction with the RP of it as well, because of course you'll be focusing a lot on the character rather than just the sheet, because the character sheet doesn't have a lot on it.
Yes,
and there's going to be a lot of RP. I mean, with this second campaign, at least with the beginning of it, I'm embracing that we do lots of just RP because it'll be a lot of fun.
This second campaign, campaign 3.
Sorry. Did I say the second campaign?
Yes, you did.
I think my brain was going with second campaign of the gel stuff, but with this next campaign.
Hey, Alex, I have a question.
Yes, what is your question?
Mechanically, what will finishing the classes do for us?
The classes or the courses, like the year, or
I don't listen. There's not this distinction in the U.S. Just
I'm not going to tell you too much. It's just like
the education do anything.
The education will. So what my plan is, although I don't know for certain, and it's a little meta, but it's a bit fun to talk about. Is there'll be certain points when I will have your characters do like tests, like exams. You guys aren't obviously going to have to answer anything, but like I may make you roll using your character stats, or like make things a bit more complex, and depending on how well, I won't make it just like one roll and that's your fate, but like I have some fun ideas for like how it could go, like time wheels, but it could, if you do particularly well, I might give you like an extra little boost to your character. If you do particularly bad, maybe something away from your character. I'll see how it goes. I don't want to like sway it too much, but just like your education.
Sorry, I think you meant when you do particularly badly.
Just like the education can have like more of an effect, and you guys will probably level up as per year, unless like if I see that you guys are really enjoying doing the first year and it's going to take like a year real time to get through it all, I'll have you level up faster, because otherwise you'll be level 1 forever.
Yeah, exactly.
And then at the end of it, I've said this to a couple of you, it's not really, there is a chance for you guys to actually join an adventurers guild, and that'll be sort of the path that you could take, not that you have to take.
So there is a problem with show non-video participants. When people turn their camera off, they just disappear completely.
Oh, apologies.
What you should have,
We can't. I can't really share the music then because people turn their cameras off.
No, Simon, no more turning the camera off.
Well, no, Joe does it as well, and you do it sometimes. Like it just happened.
I do it because I was told to do it.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't know how to make that one work.
It will not.
I will also share with you I think I've shared it with a couple of you, the buildings of the university. Because you guys would have, in the pamphlets, at least an overview of like what everything looks like. So this is like a general overview map of each of the areas. The big green bit is grass. The lighter green bit is a playing field, as in like a sports ball field.
It's not just grass, it's RE8 Park.
It is, yeah. It is a park. It's the city park.
So where's the
That park
things
we don't-
where we live stop at?
They're not on here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the accommodation bit isn't on there.
No, this is just the university buildings.
But I was just thinking the park has been like a consistent thing that we've used throughout C2, and like I feel like it gets no recognition.
Also, the park is huge.
Yeah,
it is.
Like it's not just like it's a fun little green bit. Like it's massive.
Yeah. It's where that first like exchange with the weird like crime family went down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also where Etch and Mai got married.
Mm-hmm.
And other things happened there, but I don't remember. To my character.
I feel like there's maybe a dragon attack there.
Well, there was a dragon attack everywhere.
Or no, but like the empty space.
Was it where Elsie's father was killed in the park?
No, he was killed where.
No, he was killed in the common, not the commons, the grounds of where they worked.
Where the university is probably located now. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe it's where one of the buildings of the university is.
It was
the
torn
guild
down,
hall
though.
is the guild hall is the blue one. So the guild hall, how it used to be and how it is now, it's bigger, obviously, as you'd expect. But I'm gonna send over
the Arcanum. That's a great name, the Arcanum. Where'd you get the names from? Lettingham and Rattingham and Callaway.
If you don't recognise the name, most likely it's made up. In game, anything like Lettingham Hall is somebody rich paid money and has
Callaway is an in-game thing, isn't it?
No.
They're all
Callaway,
very
Lettingham.
British. They're extremely British names.
So I will
Rattingham,
be fully.
I'm surprised it's not more Welsh, I will say.
The university is based loosely on the blueprints, the cut-up blueprints of Christchurch University in England, which is it's one of the colleges. Christchurch College of Oxford University, which is
I recognise that because that's Callaway College, like the main one, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's sort of split up. It's not identical, but
there are buildings on here that you've told me about that are not on this, I think.
Well, they
or locations within them.
Okay, there's going to be a massive explosion of pictures appearing because that's all of the in-depth maps.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Which some of them might not load. It doesn't like to load some of them, but if you click on it and
I
then
love the
click
assault
on it,
course next to the student lounge.
if
You
click
didn't
on
fix some of the spelling mistakes, I see.
No, I think, to be honest, they probably haven't rendered out some of the spelling mistakes that haven't been fixed. If you can't see it, click on it, then click Open Original. It tends to open up the picture in...
Wait, spelling mistake?
Car
Yeah,
Gardens.
one of them made it. Dyslexia.
Where's the spelling mistake? Or is that
No, apparently some of them don't want to
In the
open.
cathedral.
Oh, yeah.
Baluna.
Yeah, for some reason some of them just do it to open. That's
It's
fine.
Tower Gardens at the top there. So it's gone.
Opening original.
It doesn't.
It does. You just have to wait a
No,
second.
not.
Wait a second.
Okay, so if you can't see it, click Open Original and then just let it load. Because they're quite big maps, just so they can have a lot of detail on them. And then you can just zoom out in Chrome or whatever you're viewing on. And I would, because there's lots of detail, lots of maps. The one that looks like a dorm room, unsurprisingly, is your guys' dorm room. The Arcanum is quite a fun one. Yeah, the assault course next to the student lounge, it's the other side of the big wall.
I closed Discord. Talk about yourselves.
We can still hear you.
I know, I hit the wrong X.
We got that severe quad.
It's gone.
So there are obviously a few references you'll recognize. One thing that's not on there that is named, but it isn't. It's not officially named by the university, so it's not on the map, but it is named in Rathingham Court. There's a building sort of separate, like a wiggly, higgly, piggly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Wriggly, higgly, piggly.
Yeah, it's sort of in between.
Which one should I
If you're
think?
looking at the Rathingham Court one,
Wiggle,
which,
wiggle, wiggle.
It's
don't
the
think
weird building.
Yeah, it's one that's not
First
really loaded
floor.
properly. It's got a first floor and a second floor. On the first floor, on the bottom left, there's like a bit of a separate building. It's called Felix House.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
the
what is-
penis-looking one.
Yeah, the one with
I
the
don't
penis in it.
understand.
The penis-looking one.
Yeah, there's a
Sure.
hallway in it that looks like a penis.
You just got to make sure that you once again make sure that all of my work is devolved down to just.
Decivir is
I've literally spent
Yeah,
like
there is
tens of
party.
hours making in-depth maps with.
Wait, which one's the
Or-
penis corridor? I'm confused.
If you
Right
can't
next to
find it, that's-
TH3 and above TH1.
Yeah, they're really pushing for it to be a penis.
I'm
We're
looking.
not pushing it at all. It
I
just
don't know
looks
if I'm
like a
looking at the right
penis.
image.
That's how I remember it.
The one, if you're looking at the image that has Decivir Quad on it,
Yeah.
bottom left, there's that separate building that has like TH3, TH1, TH2, TH4, TH5.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
They're saying that.
Oh, it's-
the
oh,
corridor
okay,
directly to
right,
the right
okay,
of TH3 is a
that's,
penis. Exactly.
That's
what I'm
not.
pretty
That's not
such
a.
a reach.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. I couldn't see it till Greg drew it. But it
Yeah,
is
well,
once it
you had to draw
once
on
it,
top of it the shape of a penis to make
Yeah.
it look like a penis.
No, literally
That's-
just
that's-
connect the
way it
lines.
sits.
Just
way it
connect
sits
the lines.
currently. But if you if you turn it sideways and then connect the lines, it definitely looks.
If you draw a completely different shape over the
Yeah, if you draw a penis over it, it looks like a penis.
If you're trying to convince yourself, I don't know. So yeah, there's all of that kind of stuff. Which
Weapon Vault 1.
when you look at your timetables, you'll notice that your timetables have rooms on them, and those rooms do actually refer to rooms on some of these maps. So there are actual places that your classes are held.
This coloured one you were saying is the accommodation, effectively.
The coloured one.
Yeah. It's the one that's got a brown back, like a.
The one called accommodation is accommodation.
Is it? What's it called? It just says open original.
It's in the URL if you open original. It says accommodation if it's the accommodation one.
I believe you. It's called Dorm.
Accommodation is huge.
Dorm is the.
Dorm. So that is your guys' accommodation. So there's the one that is called accommodation, which is the building, which has lots of accommodation in it,
2, 3, 4, 5,
and then the
6,
one called dorm is your specific apartment.
There's no television. Communal shower.
You'll have en suites, but there's also a communal shower, yes. For like guests.
For very friendly guests.
So I mean, they're cubicle showers.
I really love that.
Wow, guys, Decivir Quad really looks like a penis.
For reference for podcast, Simon's just taken the picture and just drawn a penis on top of it.
Oh, that's what you did.
Thank you, Simon.
I'm not you.
I appreciate this because I don't think it looks like a penis.
Greg, please do your penis drawing that you did.
No, I'm being attacked,
Please.
so I'm not humoring it
No,
anymore.
please, 'cause I agree
No,
with you. It
I'm gonna put up a stink now. No.
Good. Put up a stink. Do it.
You're putting up a stick. You probably need to see a doctor for that.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
fun times. It's fun times.
It's really good. So
Thank you.
If that,
I spent a lot
park
of
is,
time on these.
if that park is hugely long, how long does it take to get from the accommodation block to the lecture rooms?
Quite a way. It's like a 20-minute walk.
I think it's going to be a fair old step, isn't
it's
it?
like a 20-minute walk.
What if you're running because you're late for class?
You could probably get there in
With
10.
bread in your mouth. obviously.
18-minute run. Followed by 5 minutes of gasping. What was that Pelgreen running in? That's the sports field.
Sports ball field, specifically.
I thought that was either someone farting or a car. I keep forgetting we're showing music.
Yeah, so the sports field is the exact dimensions of a sports ball field.
Oh, sports balls! Yeah.
It's
Who's
used
our
for multiple
mascot?
things, but it is sports ball. There isn't.
We need to come up with a mascot.
A mascot.
How about you make a penis?
I mean, we can do. We
That's
can call it
the
Felix.
end of the stream. See you guys next week.
I'm sorry, if you're gonna demean my work, like just down to there's a shape of a penis, then I'm gonna be salty.
Sorry, I will never make a joke about
Shape of
anything you make ever again. We are
That's what I want.
strictly business here.
Shape
Yes,
of penis.
thank you.
I love
We
that.
never have fun anymore.
The Ed Sheeran, yes, the Ed Sheeran parody. That's the Weird Al parody of the Ed Sheeran song.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would more likely be like the shape of poo.
Yeah, that works too.
That's an Ed Sheeran song, yeah?
The shape of you is an Ed Sheeran song. Yes.
Exactly, shape of poo.
It's close enough.
You'd also you'd probably like to know that if you look at the guild hall, there's the forge is basically like where is one of the places that
That's
Edge
just
teaches.
Edge would be in there, yeah, definitely.
Edge also teaches over in the Arcana, I think. I can't remember.
No, you put
Maybe
him
some other places.
in
Callaway Quad.
Callaway Quad and Lab 3.
I have it written down somewhere.
Which one's the Arcanum? Because
The Arcanum is the one that.
no, sorry, I meant in sequence down the pictures you sent. Cause
It's the one with
Yeah,
many
it's the-
rooms.
It's the one which has like 5 different squares because it's tall. It's 5 floors.
I will see it shortly as soon as that finishes.
If you click open original, you'll probably
I
be able to see
see.
the first floor, second floor, third floor, but a little easier. And then the top floor called the
Grand
Vault.
Floor Magic Practitioner Master, the Vault.
Yeah. So it's a 5-floor building. Yes, I have done the what we would call the ground floor is the first floor. You can deal with
Yes. Yes.
That's fine.
Yeah. Do you know what? For the first time ever, I got caught out by that when we were in America.
Did you say first floor? Or you say ground floor?
No, yeah, they said when they went to one of the hotels, they said, "This is your room," and it was numbered 140, and they said that'll be on the first floor. And I went
Up the stairs.
I went to go in the lift, and but it just so happened this particular hotel was on 2 levels. Went down, and at the level I was at, I looked at the numbers, and they were all numbers as 2. I thought, well, that can't be right. In that case, it must be downstairs. And then, oh, of course, it's the ground floor, which is downstairs. But it's the first time I've ever been caught by that.
Funny.
Normally, I go, yeah, first, because mostly they have like lobby and then second floor.
This is a really epic story.
Yeah.
Great story.
But yeah, first time
I'm
ever.
just going.
I turned on the fight music because I'm angry.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah, why not? That's okay.
So yeah, I think that's like everything I can pretty much share
What's
that you guys
What's
would
that,
kind of know.
what's that bit in the bottom left of the magic practice room? There's squares with X's on them.
Oh, so squares with X's means storage room.
Observation.
Oh,
sorry.
right.
So you'll find
Which
that
ones?
in
Oh, there's the
multiple
answer.
places around. T means toilet, and the squares mean storage rooms.
Fair enough. Trophy hall.
Yeah, it's interesting if you can find. Do I have it somewhere? The old outline of the guild hall. I don't think I rendered it out because I have it in. Because I basically the way that I made the guild hall is that I took the previous ones that you had made. I believe, Greg, you're the one that drew it out. I drew over it perfectly. And then acted as though through the years it was expanded and walls were knocked through, and I did it as though the building has been like worked on rather than just going and screw it, here's some space. 'Cause I thought
It's
it'd be quite interesting
expanded
to see
along
like
the side of the training grounds. The training grounds were half that.
Yep.
It stopped at the indoor training. The C6, C7, like that whole area past that wasn't there. And of course that hallway off the side with the wood shop and the forge weren't there.
Because in the two...
and the inside has been changed a bit, so the trophy hall used to be a little bit of a library, and that's just been knocked through to make one big trophy room. Little bits have been changed, like where you guys used to stay is now classroom 1, and the lab, because practicality.
Looking at the city maps, I mean, the guild hall is the blue building. They are exactly the same shape, aren't they?
Sorry, what
Yeah, they are, yes.
So it hasn't expanded then, this has gone upwards.
No, it has expanded.
So
those weren't.
If you're looking at the old Veiluna map, that has the new stuff on it because I was fitting them in.
Oh, I see.
That's not actually the old map. If that top bit is wrong. Compared
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Those buildings were just blobs before, like the rest of the map.
Yeah.
It was me trying to fit things in. And
I did wonder.
Stuff, so.
Okay, that makes complete sense.
The tree, however, raised tree, the same tree, 423 years old.
Oh, raised tree.
It probably still has the like remnants, but it's not. It's nothing that you could use. Like it would have like the shape of it, which has probably been maintained, but like there's no ladder. No one's allowed up there. Like it's not a practical building.
Ray took down the ladder before anyway because she could fly.
I guarantee you, there's some kind of like one of the hazing things is like get into the treehouse in Ray's Tree without getting caught.
I wonder if there's like an urban myth that somebody died up there and it's being haunted.
Oh, probably.
Oh, Miss
yeah. I was thinking of other myths. Yeah.
So there's an urban myth that Felix House still is haunted with the spirit of Felix.
Well, that's
not unlikely. It's not true, but it's not completely unreasonable.
No, exactly.
That's actually a reasonable thing to surmise. Wow, good job, weird students.
So the theory is that if he's asleep, but one day he will wake up. So I love that.
And then, of course, there's Longwin Hall and Callaway Quad.
Who's Decivy? I know that's one of the names.
Party. We've had this like 4 times.
And of course,
this is not the first time with this.
I was listening. I was too busy not listening.
And of course, my favorite nod to Big Boy. Fuck, what's his name?
Big Boy Fuck.
Zegith.
Who's Big Boy?
Zegith.
Big Boy Fuck.
The stationery shop.
There's references all over. So there's Decivir, there's Felix House, there's Tar Gardens.
Halcyon Zegith's first date.
Longwin Hall.
Yeah.
Longwin Hall, which is in Callaway Quad. See, that was meant to make Purdy go, oh, but I feel like Purdy...
I already said that. I literally just said it.
Fine, okay.
And I am listening, thank you very much.
You usually aren't.
I am!
Tar Garden.
The cathedral is called Veiluna Cathedral because it isn't just a cathedral for the university. It is owned by the university, but it is used as a cathedral for the city.
It is owned by the cathedral?
It is owned by the cathedral, yes.
Cloister.
And then, of course, the sort of...
No, Cloister, it's named after your favourite Pokemon.
Then Lettingham Hall is basically like the student hall, or whatever you call it. Like it has the student information, student lounge.
What shops are there in though? It just has 4 shops.
Nondescript at this point is not something I had prioritized coming up with.
I'll give you some ideas.
Why? We're gonna need to.
I'll tell you afterwards because they're insights into my character. Also, one room is just tea.
One of them will be a stationary shop. Tea is a toilet.
Why do we need a second stationary shop?
It's university.
There's always one in the SU. Student Union always has a stationary shop.
Then move it from the other one. We don't need 2 on campus. This isn't McDonald's.
Yeah, but they're so far away from each other. Although the stationary shop is more likely to be like one of those that has...
Well, you can't move it. It's a stationary shop.
It has pullovers with like DeSamp written on it, and like
a university store.
Yeah.
You just call the university store a stationary shop?
No, I'm just saying it's kind of a duality.
Oh, that's not uncommon, at least at UK universities. Or at least at Leicester University and Glasgow University.
It's so reductive.
Yep.
I didn't realise you went to Leicester as well.
Mm-hmm. I was there before Alex was.
He's well travelled.
Well travelled is a nice way of putting it.
So with all of that information, are you at least partially excited for the...
Oh yeah,
I'm always
really
partially excited.
I'm interested to see how long it takes for the first of us to get killed. That's not long.
Depends how long it takes you to get into a fight.
But exactly.
First episode.
Exactly. We're run into the issue of people who are used to having far higher level characters going, I'll just go there and punch him.
It's not just
Like,
far higher level
Biff.
characters. It's you're being put into a situation where you are not really like you're between the ages of 18 and 22. I think that covers all of your ages.
No.
And
17 and 22.
17 and 22, and you're in a situation where like you have never had your first instinct just to go over and punch it. Because you are responsible, mostly law-abiding. But not like properly. Like if you're going to punch something, you're not going to try and kill it. Like in the old campaign, you go fight something, you kill it. It's very rare that you guys would, like keep something alive. In here, if you were to fight something, I don't know if your characters are.
To be fair,
that's up to you. But
in most situations, punching something doesn't kill it unless you're in a D&D.
No, but this is what I'm saying. As D&D is usually set up for do a fight, kill the thing, move on. Because we're going much more RP heavy, if you guys got into a fight in school, for example, like, you'd be changing how you'd go about that fight.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. And also, there's a guard around the city that will probably tell you to go home.
Oh no, it's a police state university.
It's not a police state. It's just there are police.
There are
around,
police,
as in every city.
Wow.
No, you're right. You should be able to get away with murder with no consequences.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely, yeah.
I don't see a problem.
And with capitalism being so prevalent, I'm sure it's the kind of police where just being rudely bullied is fine, but if you throw the first punch in response to that, you're the one in trouble.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Guaranteed.
Well, that's just reasonable, obviously.
Yeah, definitely, for sure, yeah.
I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah, emotional abuse doesn't count.
I could also tell you that
as the saying goes,
you guys would be aware of in Carmanthia, in Corsia, the Guild Supreme is called the Order of the Panthers. You'd be aware of it because, King Reagan loves to be like, hey, look, we're so important. And they have a very, flashy, posters all over the place all the time about the Spectacular Five, who are, the main five peeps of the Order of the Spectacular Five, or the Order of the Panthers. So at some point I'll show you those, but you'd see that a fair bit. It's very, the Boys, the series The Boys, or Justice League, or any of those things where it's the people on the front of the posters and everyone, tons of people
so they're actually huge shitheads. Got it.
No, you don't know what they're actually like because you obviously.
I know, but that's my takeaway from you relating it to The Boys.
But you would be. It was just more just like a group that you would have heard of. You would be aware that the main guy, Laronis Hellthorn, known as Fang, looks very much like Fang, just with more armor and stuff.
Our characters wouldn't know that.
No, but you guys would, and I just think that's an amusing thing to know.
I wouldn't.
I think actually I have an image somewhere of the Spectacular Five, because, why wouldn't I?
I take it you created them all in Hero Forge.
Oh yeah, of course, obviously.
And their family trees. And,
you made all the Guild Supreme leaders, haven't you?
I don't know if I've done all of them. I've done a lot of guild stuff, but I haven't done all of them because you guys aren't going to be interacting, and it's one of those things where if you ask the question, I will say something and write it down because there's a.
Oh, cool! Got it. So we can come up with things for the campaign. Got it.
That is very good. Very good.
Maybe I don't. No, evidently I don't. That's weird because I definitely have minis for all of them. But oh well.
When you say the Guild Supremes, two things come into my head, and one of them is Burger King.
What? How?
Just because it sounds like a burger.
Yeah.
Guild Supreme. And the other thing is Diana Ross, which is another kind of K adjacent.
I keep thinking of the clothing brand Supreme.
Oh yeah, Supreme, that too.
I keep thinking of Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme.
Oh, that's kind of more. That's more in line with the Guild Supremes, though, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to Golden Girls, the Supremes, which is like singers in the 1980s, 70s.
Supremes in the 1960s, I think.
60s?
Cadbury love.
Well,
Diana Ross is a character in
there's
C3.
one more thing I would
love
share.
Oh, yes.
Just for the fun of sharing things, because Greg kind of wanted to earlier, is the music I made to be the new intro for intro/outro, which is called The Rising Suns. Because Jam has 2 sons, so you know.
Of course.
Which it's up to you whether or not you want to play it for everybody.
Or keep it as a surprise.
Sorry, everybody's getting a white screen. I know. Sorry.
The music that you composed is just a recording of Greg going,
the intro.
Welcome to Dice Breakers D&D.
I guess you'll put it into thingy. Sort it in a way. Possibly. I am also making music for each of your characters. It'll be a slow thing. It's not going to be done like at the beginning of C3 because it's just a back project for me. And I will share with you at certain points. It's not necessarily going to be used anywhere. It's just I like making music, and it's kind of fun for you guys to have like a piece of music for it to represent.
I've still got my White Bear music.
Yeah.
Wait, you got White Bear music?
Yeah, I believe I made a couple for the first, but then I ran out of time and then got really stressed about making the first campaign and just stopped making them. I think actually, no, I did make one for each of your characters, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you definitely did, because they played in the first episode.
Yeah, in fact I did, yes. So you did.
You played it over the.
I personally don't remember, but that means nothing with me.
We all did an intro of our character, which none of us.
Yeah.
So the way this one's going to work is I'm not going to do individual, because we weren't streaming them as well, so I did them like individually with you. But this time I'm going to do an intro sort of like scene for each of your characters that all of you will listen to, because I could do everyone mutants, but I think it'd be nice for you all to sort of get a little bit of insight. It's a little bit of meta knowledge, but I think it's nice for you guys to get a little bit of the fun bits of each of your things. What?
Worry about it.
It's fine.
Hopefully, you'll. Well, I didn't even see what happened.
Nothing happened. They just went loop.
Oh.
Hopefully, you'll enjoy the music that I made because it took forever. It's gone really quiet.
That's not, no.
It's not that one. Just starts like playing "Take on Me."
Take me on.
This is the music.
Now you see, I'm waiting for Greg to start it up. It's going to be "Never Gonna Give You Up."
Alex, how loud is it? Do you think?
It gets louder, so I'd keep it like middling, and if people stay quiet, we should all be able to hear it. You can also, for everyone,
people stay quiet. Why would I do that?
That's not it.
That's not it.
Here it is.
I know my music. You can also right-click on their stream, Greg's stream, and then turn up the volume.
That does look like it. Yes, I recognise this. I've heard.
Wait, hold on. Pause that.
What?
That is an old version. That's the wrong version.
Is it?
Yeah, because that's the wrong instrument style, and I changed the instrument that it starts with.
That you paused it just as it started sounding like the Overwatch.
I apologize for like that, but I obviously do not want to be the wrong one. Why is that not the right one? That's on me, obviously. Did I not?
Party.
It is.
What is?
Apologies. Art.
Art?
That you aren't allowed to see because it's from one of the other characters.
That's not what I was talking about, but the art is also very good. I have a comment.
Yes.
Oh.
I also sent Greg something else.
Oh, I see.
Oh.
Fine, I see what it is.
Now it is very quiet.
Do, 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 do.
That's exactly right.
Quiet.
So rude.
Savage.
I prefer the quiet.
Love you too, Beck.
Oh, that's so rude.
dear me.
Everybody, we need to think of a second spoiler for
Second spoiler.
Bush did 9/11. No.
Slander the U.S. as much as you want. I'll back up all of it. Maybe they'll extradite
Well,
me.
we still want our podcast to keep going without being sued, though.
I won't be sued. That's yeah.
Yeah, it won't be sued. It'll just be swatted.
I tell you one thing.
Maybe they'll extradite me from the country.
Speaking of the US,
As far as they're
Exactly
concerned,
right.
I live in The Sims.
You'll never get me. I'm not even real.
that's what that little diamond thing over your head is.
Yeah. Oh my god, I should get one of them.
That's the right version.
Yeah, it's just a very thin piece of wire and then like a green
I'm gonna
bobbing
do
down.
that.
Yeah.
Ah,
I was
yes.
gonna say,
It should have been the
what the fuck
MP3,
have I done
not the wave.
I was good
Apparently.
question. I was looking for no particular reason. Something came up in conversation today, this morning, and we were talking about when we were in America and blah blah blah. We were talking about dates and you know how the day, month, year day thing, month, day, whatever.
I like dates. Tasty.
I like dates.
I don't like them. They
And I suddenly
make me
thought to
ill.
myself, I wonder how much the world uses month, day, year, and how much uses day, month, year.
Yeah.
Because I know UK uses day, month, year, the US uses month, day, year. So I looked it up to see what the numbers were like.
Oh.
What do you think?
I think
More
two
people
countries,
use American.
Two countries use month day year, and
Two
the rest of the
countries?
world, two countries.
I thought you
Really?
said crunchies.
There's only one
may have done.
country. There's only one country that exclusively uses month, day, year. That's the US.
Sounds about
the
right.
day, month, year is. I mean, of the 7 billion people in the world, around about 5 billion use day, month, year. And the US 330 million use month, day, year.
To be fair,
And the rest are a bit of a mix. China uses year, month, day.
I like year month day, but all programmers like year month day.
Exactly.
All like jokes to stand aside, I genuinely don't understand why month day year is used because it just doesn't make sense. It's not good for ordering, and it's not good
it
for
doesn't.
like.
But if you're saying
Everyone
a
gets
date, it depends how you use your language because if you tend to say January the 3rd, so I would tend to say 3rd of January, so 3-1. Whereas if you're used to saying January the 3rd, then you'd say 1-3 because it's that way around.
I don't know. It's
just
strange
depends-
to me, but
It depends.
whatever. Who
It
cares,
depends
right?
how you're used to saying it. In
Hey.
computer terms, it's a pain in
No,
the butt.
no. It just depends whether you're wrong or not.
Everybody boost my ego and listen to my music now.
But I was really surprised. I thought more people use that. So carry on listening.
Ego boosting.
Not that one. There you go.
Oh, different.
It's different. Told you, yeah.
Ah.
I like it.
Woo!
I like that. That's
I
really
love
good.
that.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I like that a lot. That's very,
That went
very
through
good.
so many different iterations. We have intro music. It's officially ours, and no one can copyright claim it ever.
Well, you can.
What if they do?
Well, no,
though?
it's not copyrighted.
But I own the podcast.
Yeah, but if somebody else uses it, you could copyright it.
Oh, that's true.
No, you can't. Not unless it's copyrighted, surely.
There is intellectual copyright and that stuff. I don't think I could necessarily say like. It's weird, but yes, I could claim it as my own. I think with most things, the way copyright works, you don't actually have to have like a patent or a document to say it's yours. It's intellectual property. So if somebody uses it, I can say, I made that. Here's my proof.
I make these.
Stop using that or give me money towards it.
Monies.
Not that anyone's going to find our podcast and try to pull that music out of it, even though it'll have words being talked over it.
Yeah.
In fact, I say we never shut up enough for them to actually take the music.
No.
No.
Other than that one time just there.
Apart from whoever was watching right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Except it's not, because halfway through Dad went, that's really good. It makes me think of like music which you hear, you're listening through and it goes, Audio Jungle. Every
Oh, LimeWire.
Yep.
DJ Khaled.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he
Mr. What?
designs that to be that way, which, well, as much as he
Yeah.
designs anything.
Mr. Worldwide. Anyway,
Still, I've never listened to.
Is Mr. World? Do you think Mr. Worldwide is competing with Mr. International? Pitbull versus DJ Khaled.
I don't care.
I just.
Oh, I mean, I don't care.
DJ
actually.
Khaled is like a perpetual joke, and nobody takes him seriously.
Yeah, there is that.
I kind of feel sorry for that he is a meme, and I'm not convinced he
I
knows
don't.
it.
I don't feel sorry for him.
I think he
feel sorry
knows
for
it,
him.
and I think he works off of it.
I think he leans into it.
Maybe. I mean, it's one of those any attention is good attention mindsets, I guess. Anyway, so that's like a massive splurge of information about C3. Hopefully it has brought like you into the mindset of where we're going to be starting on C3 and a little bit of excitement towards it.
Oh yeah. I'm really keen to get started now. Really keen.
Yeah. I will say I'm excited for all of your characters because like each of you, I think it's definitely been like a step up from the previous. Like you can tell that it's not your first character anymore. It's not like just sort of experiments. It's like this is a good place to be with some fun stuff that might come up later, with some fun stuff that will come up straight away, some interesting stuff. I can see really interesting interactions between the lot of you. So I'm excited.
It should be good fun. It should be very good fun. And I'm not allowed to get killed because I haven't bothered to create a second character. So,
I mean, there's no like fuss, especially to start with, because me a lot of like exploring the university stuff. But I would genuinely, within like the next month or two, just make a second, like a backup character or two. It doesn't have to be fully created.
You see, I have a problem there because on my D&D Beyond, because I don't.
In some way or another,
I'm too cheap to spend.
even if you don't make the actual character sheet, just a character. Just because I'm not necessarily going to be like every fight is a risk you'll die, but like there is a certain amount of ease.
No, do it.
Guess I'll die.
Do it. Every fight is a risk. Do it.
There will be risk, but like I'm saying, if there are backup characters, it's easier to kill you all.
Yeah.
I'm fully convinced at this point Alex has no qualms about killing my characters because I always have another idea.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, your next idea is hilarious.
I have no idea how it's going to fit in a school setting, but I'd love to see it try.
I want to kill your character just to get the backup.
No, you're not allowed to.
So
yeah,
I
but think of
we'll...
imagine how good of a plot point that would be for Neva.
I'd hate it. I'd hate it.
Right. At this point, we'll leave it there. I think it's coming on to the
what? No more character spoilers.
There's not much more. Like there's a lot of information. Not a lot much more to spoil, is there?
I don't know.
Dumbledore's
I will
gay.
say. How about I'll say that at least one of the 5 characters has something that will be hidden for a long time. And I love saying something like that because you can then look at all the faces and see if anybody reacts.
I would assume that's sort of the case for
I mean like
most
big secrets.
characters. Oh.
Spooky, scary.
Raise your hand if you have a secret.
I'm an open book.
I just say everything the second it comes into my brain.
Nobody but Alex raised their hand.
Yeah, but I have all the secrets.
Yeah, true.
It's going to be really nice to be playing C3 purely because, like, there's so much that I've done and there's so much more to be done. But it's getting to a point where I've honestly stopped. Like, I'm still writing some bits, but a lot of it I've just like stopped writing because I can't keep writing. Otherwise, it will get dangerously close to railroading.
Yeah.
I want to start. Because then I can see where your characters see the beginnings of them and see what seems important, what wants to be developed, and then start pushing in those directions rather than just pretending I know what the hell's going to happen. Because to be honest, I have no idea what's going to happen. Because it's all of you all.
You never do. We never do.
Well, I know what I think will happen, but it isn't necessarily correct. I will say, the music's kind of sad. For some reason, you put onto the sad music.
I put on the cry. I put on cry.
Whilst we were on sorting out this music, some of the cry music came out, and I've discovered that when referencing the end of C2, I can say about one sentence and make Greg cry. No particular sentence. I just have that ability.
I'm about to deafen myself. I swear to God.
I was about to say I'm already tearing up, and I don't even fucking know what you're on about.
With the sad music,
You know what he's on about, though.
I was pointing out seeing like the cart which has
myself, but it's
which has Ray and Flora going into the sunset whilst Elsie is sort of just standing in front of the guild hall, just staring, just nodding her head ever so slightly, just like knowing that it's happy for them, but just feeling ever so slightly alone in that moment. Before Zegeth comes along, but yeah.
We have a happy music. That's it. There we go.
And this is the party after they leave.
The cowbell.
Anyway, we'll leave that there. This is good. I think the plan next week, hopefully, we'll do some more authors and editors. I know that. Oh, actually, next week too.
No, because Joe's not there.
Joe might be there. I will know. I think actually at this point it's more likely Joe will be there. So we'll probably continue with also the authors and editors. See.
And if Joe isn't there, then we'll have to delay C3 by another week.
No, I am there.
Yeah. But hopefully.
We know I'm getting.
It sounds like Sims music. Hopefully on the 14th. That's when we'll start C3. Hopefully.
Yeah, Alex, as I mentioned last week, but just to reiterate, if you've not put it in diary, 28th, I'm not going to be there.
I am aware, but we have to start at some point, and we can't do.
Yeah, no. It's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks after we started.
Two works. Yep.
2 works.
So I think, whilst the music plays, we do a quirky but awkward.
On the 28th, I won't be here either.
Great. We do a quirky but awkward awkward wave.
Awkward laugh.
Awkward laugh.
I would, but I'm painting my nails and I don't want to mess them up, so imagine that I'm waving.
Bye bye.
Nice.